All right, welcome. What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. We got a very special guest here tonight for it's an important week. We got Georgia Tech this weekend, and I thought I'd bring in the big guns, Mr. Mike McCoy. Let the people know, what you're up to these days and where they can find you on social media and all that good stuff.
Thanks for having me, John. I have my little Epumita right here.
Oh, nice. I was going to ask you about that because I know you're not originally from Miami, right? But you went to school here.
Yeah, no, I am from originally. I've been here my whole life.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you know about Cuban coffee, Cuban food, all that good stuff. Okay, cool. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's all good. Again, thanks for having me. And that's my Twitter handle right there, UM_radio_Mike. And at the moment, I'm just pumping out content for State of the U. I'm going to have 2 articles out by game day, by kickoff. I should have 2 different ones out by then, both on different things. And they might touch on some of the stuff that we're going to talk about. So it's kind of a good thing they're having this conversation.
All right. Perfect, man. So let's get to a few of the comments. Birdstone, what's going on? Supreme Goon, always on the chat. Kilo, what's up? E-Dub. Yeah, man. So this is obviously a really, really important 4-game stretch, not just for the team and the program, but for Manny Diaz specifically.
Yeah,
and so, of course, the debate right now, especially on Twitter amongst Canes fans, is assuming, I'll give you this scenario, we win our last 4. Not only do we win our last 4, we look disciplined doing it. We're tackling better, swarming to the football. We're playing team ball.
Right.
TVD keeps balling out. Maybe we win the Coastal, maybe we don't, but we win out. We win our bowl game. We look solid doing it like a la 2016 where we finish strong like that.
Right.
That happens, and new athletic director comes in and says, hey, Manny, you've earned yourself 1 more year. Are you okay with this?
It's funny because, like I said, I was actually thinking about this just a couple of days ago, and I would be okay with it as long as Manny did one very, very important thing. Okay, first of all, whatever magic wand they waved over the offense, that's got to happen with the defense, right? I mean, it's just got to happen. But it's been said, things going on inside the locker room, inside the program. Manny said this, Manny said that, Manny did this, Manny did that, Manny didn't do this, Manny didn't do that. If he has a conversation with his coaches, because apparently some coaches are up to here with him, all right? If he has a serious conversation with them and he tells them, look, I know what the problem was, and I've learned from my mistakes, and I'm not going to go ahead. I'm going to let the team be ran how it's supposed to be ran. I'm going to CEO. I'm not going to be this hard-headed, what. If he does all of those things, if he does all of those things, mind you, we'll never know if he did because all of the stuff's supposed to be in-house, right? Then yeah, I would be. But I don't know what the chances of those things happening are. And so that's the only way I would. That's the only way I would be okay with it. If he did all of those things, man, because that's what it's going to take for us to be a complete team. Now, if it was up to me, I wouldn't even give him that chance because I was a huge Manny Diaz guy. All right. Mm-hmm. And I don't dislike him now. I just, the things that you and I have heard and, whoever else, it seems like he's put himself before the U. And no student, I always say this, no student athlete, no coach, no administrator, no recruit is above the U. Nobody ever. So that's what I feel like he's done. And, you can't come back from that.
Oh, agreed. Yeah, he's done, I think as far as the trust of fans, he's done some irreparable damage, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that would be the only way. The only way to keep him alive for now is playing the young guys and winning with them. That's happening.
Yeah.
But to carry over to another season, I think that needs to happen. Randy's saying, John, if Manny's retained, he must get a DC and leave him to coach it. No more intervention. Yep. Pretty much what you're saying. Is you think there's any chance that, assuming that my scenario happens, he stays another year, does he promote from within? T-Rob, Bob Shoop, does one of those guys get that job?
If they're here, if they want to stay, right?
Yeah.
if they're here. I would like to see T-Rob have that DC title. I mean, that may entice him to, stick around and whatever, because he was a DC in the SEC. So it's not like if he'd be brand new at it, okay? With South Carolina under, who was it? Muschamp, right? Under Muschamp.
Yeah.
And that's a defensive guy. So I think that's a good idea. He just needs less responsibility. The less, the better. More with less. You have less with more, however it goes. And he's still only in his third year. Okay, he's still a fairly new coach. He's still wet behind the ears. He can use all the help he can get, including getting advice from the Reeds of the world, from the Shoops of the world, and guys like that. Because apparently they're saying ABC, and he's saying XYZ, and that can't happen when you have guys with world years of experience.
Yeah, and obviously there's, you mentioned it earlier that the coaches are up to here with him, and the main guy that's in all the rumors that we're hearing is T-Rob. Apparently, we're hearing that they're butting heads, and it's not a shocker because T-Rob likes to run that bump and run style, and we haven't started seeing that until recently,
right? For
whatever reason. Yeah, I don't understand that part. Fire Packy. Yeah, I don't think anyone disagrees with that. Yeah, losing. I just hope they hang on to that dude, because T-Rob, he's so valuable on the recruiting trail. We've only seen him really like half a recruiting cycle, honestly. We haven't seen him for a full one in action. And we're already starting to see it with Kamari Rogers and guys of that ilk committing to Miami. So, yeah, Coach Diaz has to put his pride aside.
He's a Miami guy, man. And he even said in that interview with Josh Darrow, like maybe a week after he got hired, that podcast that Josh Darrow has, that he's a Cane at heart. Like, he's a Cane. The only reason he didn't come here is because he knew, damn, I'm going to be behind, Andre Johnson, all these guys, Daryl Jones, whatever. I want to get on the field. I went to high school with T-Rob. I was a freshman when he was a senior. He went to Miami Coral Park. And he played both ways. In college, obviously, went to Auburn and stayed the defensive side of the ball. He wasn't a two-way guy anymore. But, in Miami, I think he was going to be recruited as a receiver. If I'm not mistaken, that's what that podcast was saying. And he said, F it, I want to get on the field. I'm not going to get any playing time behind these guys. And that's where he went. But he bleeds Miami. His parents wanted him to come. He's happy. He's at home. You got to keep a guy here like that. So I hope that, something right happens, and maybe winning cures all, because that's what they say, right? You start winning and, you kind of forget about the stuff. So we'll see, man.
I've always believed that winning makes everything a lot easier. And I think T-Rob even bought a house here, like when he got hired. So he wants to be here. You do not drive that dude away.
No.
So switching gears to the offense now, you were talking about whatever magic wand was waved over them. What do you think that magic wand was? Was it Lashley? Was it Likens kind of stepping in and having a bit more of a role, or was it just TVD's carrying all of them?
I would like to say that it was a little bit of both of those, because there's three former head coaches on the offensive side of the ball, right? Or not a head coaches, offensive coordinators,
play
right?
Callers. Yeah,
play callers. So, and Likens is one of them. And so a guy like that has put receivers into the NFL, like what's his name with my Niners? I'm drawing a blank. I can never remember his name. Brandon Ayuk. Okay, that's a player. Arizona State. That guy's a solid player. He kind of knows what he's doing. So, it's worked out beautifully. We cannot forget TVD and what he's done. This is a guy, and I like to mention it every time I bring him up. As a senior in high school, and you guys could look this up. As a senior in high school, he said, "Oh, I'm going to start as a freshman at UM." Everybody knows that wasn't going to happen. Whatever. That's just the kind of confidence that guy has in himself. So, everybody saw what he said the week at NC State, and then he kind of backtracked and said, "I didn't mean to make it sound like that, but hell, that's Cane talk." You believe something, you say, "Oh, we're not going to get stopped. I don't believe anybody can stop us." And apparently that's spread across, the locker room or whatever. So I think the players really, really have his back. They want him to succeed. He's a young guy. And I think a little bit of it too was, what? We're not looking good so far in the season. After that NC State, things were looking bleak. And they said, F it, let's just throw the kitchen sink. I think maybe a little bit that was part of it, because they're playing like they have nothing to lose, and they don't. That's the worst kind of, that's the worst kind of team to play.
Exactly. Yeah. No, we had our backs against the wall, and we still do. We gotta, we're like in that playoff scenario where you lose one, you're eliminating.
Yeah.
So that, we're a dangerous team when our backs against the wall.
Yeah, man.
But speaking of, obviously Georgia Tech this weekend, they're 3-5. You look at them on paper, they're not, they don't seem like the best competition. They lost to Pitt by like 30 points.
Yeah.
They lost to Northern Illinois, which is not a good loss. But then I think they destroyed UNC too. So they've got talent, is what I'm trying to get at. They're kind of sneaky good, sneaky athletic. Jeff Sims, is that a dude that scares you right now, or are you confident that we can kind of contain him?
I'm confident, but you can never know with these guys. Like, look, I know this sounds crazy because the guy's having an incredible year, but what Kenneth Walker, the running back for Michigan State, I still don't think he's all that. Okay, I think that Miami played a terrible game. Credit to him because he's not a terrible player. Okay, I just don't think he's this Heisman thing that he's having a great year, but to me, he's not even the best running back, in America. So, like, I said that to say this. Especially with Miami with the lead, okay? If you're playing with the lead and you make another team predictable, then I like our chances a lot better. But, the guy can break out, Sims can break out and do whatever, but Miami's defense is so up and down. It's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Again, and I think it has to do with the kind of style that, Manny is this all-out boom or bust defense. And, sometimes you strike, sometimes you not. With the type of defense we've been having last in the country in, tackles, but we're like top 10 in tackles for loss. It just doesn't make sense. So it's like, who's going to show up? You know what I mean? So the guy can make plays. I don't know anybody else on that team really that, you can kind of keep a defensive coordinator up at night. What was the name of the transfer receiver that we had here that transferred to Georgia Tech? I forget his name because I haven't really heard him. Ezer. I don't know how he's playing this year. I don't know if he's a primary target or not, but that's a good. Let me see if I can find it here.
I'm looking at the receiving stats. I don't think he even has a catch.
Wow. Okay. Well, then forget that. But look, if that's like their only thing, if you can kind of do what Bill Belichick likes to do and take the best thing that they like to do away, I like our chances a lot better. The thing with Miami's defense is we're first and second down all-stars. Once that third down hits, it's like we forget to do stuff. So, get off the field on third downs and convert on third downs like you have been, and I like our chances. Especially, it's homecoming, man. It's homecoming, too, so they should be hyped for that.
That's true. I forgot about that. So it should hopefully be a nice crowd. Usually it being a noon kickoff kind of hurts that, but I'm hoping it'll be a nice crowd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ezra's in the portal. Thanks, Anthony.
Oh, Ezra's in the portal. There you go. Yeah, what was I going to say? Oh, did Tate play last week? I wanted to address that. Yeah, Tate played special teams, right? He got a few reps in there.
He did. And
Manny Diaz actually said that he's gonna get some actual snaps.
I would love to see it, man.
Yeah. Do you think he's? I mean, with all the time off, you think he'll probably have a little bit of rust. So you think he'll be ready to make a impact right away?
Part of the reason that he was left out was to bring him back up, to speed, not game shape, obviously, but conditioning wise. So he was serving a suspension. I think it was 4 or 6 games, whatever. But in that time, they were also getting him up to speed, getting in shape. Remember, that guy was all over the field. A lot of people were saying he was like one of our best safeties, or if not our best safety in the spring. And then, things changed after that. But I'm expecting him to make plays. I'm just interested to see who else is going to be out there in the secondary while he's there. I would love to see us somehow fit Kinchins and Williams in there while he's there. But for that, maybe you bring Williams down to striker, linebacker, whatever. I don't know. But I would just love to see all those 3 guys on the field at the same time. I do think Williams is going to have a chip on his shoulder and going to want to make some noise.
Oh, absolutely. He's definitely going to play with a chip on his shoulder. I have a very important question, though, talking about the secondary.
Okay.
DJ Ivey. Why is he getting the snaps he's getting?
Man, it's one of those things that I think that that he can provide. He's an athlete, okay? He's more of a safety. He seems to be like he's to me, I mean, he has a perfect corner size, right? He has a perfect size as a corner. I don't know how fast he is anymore, though. I mean, I remember he tore his ACL his senior year in high school, but that was a long time ago. He should be 100% in terms of that, but he moves like a safety. He seems like he's always behind the play, but the guy has prototypical size for a cornerback. I mean, I see him now, and it's kind of like I see Untitled Roll. But and I'm not comparing the two. Obviously, Untitled was a hell of a player. I'm saying in the sense that Untitled really didn't fit once he got to the next level as a corner because he was kind of too slow. So they moved him to safety. And look, he won the Super Bowl. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what the reason is. I don't know if it's because somebody gets banged throughout the game or not, or they're trying to give him a chance or whatever. But when he was in there last week, I didn't think that he looked particularly well because I was keying on him. I saw number 8 on there, and I was like, okay. And he just, I don't know. He's always seemed behind this guy, and I don't remember him getting beat, but it just didn't look like he was with the program.
Yeah, he's always been kind of up and down for me. He'll have a good game, a couple bad games, then a couple decent games. But the last one, I mean, they were going after him.
I didn't catch that.
It looked there was a couple of drives where they were picking on him for sure.
Damn.
Yeah,
and
I missed that. usually you do that against a freshman corner, not a senior.
Right.
Let's see. Shiano. Speaking of coaches, they were talking last night. I don't know if you caught Flo's show last night, Maxed Out. They were talking about possible coaches and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Seattle's becoming a more and more popular name. Cane fans are kind of split on that one. I'm kind of on the fence. I think he's the complete antithesis of Manny as like a player's coach. What do you think of Seattle?
I forgot who I was having a conversation with or what I was listening to, but somebody was saying that when he was here back in the late 90s, early 2000s, that he was not liked by other players. I don't know if the staff was included in that statement, but I know players did not like him. People did not like him, like on the inside. They didn't like him. They said he was a jerk. He was I get it. This is 20 years ago, so maybe he's changed, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of the type of coach he is, we do need a disciplinarian. Hell yeah. We do need a disciplinarian. So he would fit that bill. But I don't know if I want that guy to be my disciplinarian. I like Stoops ahead of him. That guy has, he's coaching in the SEC. He's a trenches guy. I mean, I know he coached our secondaries, but he's a trenches guy because look what he's done to that O-line, whatever. But I'd take Stoops and a couple other disciplinarians before him. Would I take him? Yeah, he'd be on my list of coaches, but he'd probably be like 10th. All right. Yeah, he would be down there. And it's not that he's a bad coach. I just I don't know how I like him down here fit wise and culture wise.
Yeah. He wouldn't be that far down for me, but probably like 5th behind like Lane Kiffin, Mario, Stoops. Number 1 for me, like this is dream scenario, obviously. I don't think he's coming here. Luke Fickell will be number 1 for me.
Okay.
I know people think, culture-wise, it probably wouldn't be the right fit. They kind of rolled the dice with Jimmy Johnson in that regard, too, and it worked.
It worked out. You're right. You're damn right.
It doesn't have to be a Miami guy necessarily.
No, it doesn't.
Be a guy that develops talent.
100%.
Yeah. Stoops doesn't improve offense, though. I don't totally agree with that. I think we'd be more of a power running team because he runs that power spread, but it would be effective. We'd actually be able to execute it.
Agreed. And then the only thing with him is I like seeing our athletes out on the field. So I'm just wondering how that fits into what he likes to do. Because you just said it, power spread, all this stuff. I don't think we'll be seeing what we've seen the past 2 weeks. We don't see that. We don't see that touchdown pass to Will Mallory with Stoops here against what was it, like a double reverse or whatever the hell it was. That was sweet.
Double reverse, yes. And
we don't see that
reverse flea flicker. Yeah.
And so we don't see that type of stuff. We matriculate the ball down the field, make it hard for other defenses, keep them out on the field long. Yeah, okay. It's not Miami style football. Will it win games? Sure, but I'm just wondering about the athletes.
Yeah. And speaking of tight end, do you see more Arroyo in this game? Because it's getting to the point that it's like, how is he not on the field at this point? I understand the first few games, fine.
Right.
But, like he gets like 1 target a game. Like what's happening?
He's and I look. I know this is not saying much. Hasn't dropped, and if I can remember, he hasn't dropped a pass on the season. I know he's only been targeted like, a handful of times, if that. But and then so you have to throw it at him because Miami offenses are best when you got two tight ends to cover. All right, Mallory and Brevin worked out well. Njoku Herndon worked out well. I mean, why the hell not? Arroyo's he's more athletic than Mallory, and I love Mallory. I know he's getting the ire of everyone. I get it, but I wish it would come together for him. Past two games, it looks like it. Him and Van Dyke spoke, and they said let's just have fun. But I really like him. That guy could be a weapon. He's a prototypical NFL tight end body wise. I'm sorry, prototypical tight end, like NFL wise. With his body and everything. So. To answer your question, you got to have more of Arroyo. He's easily the most athletic, guy, mismatch wherever you go. You can line him up in the backfield, wheel route him, he'll block, all of that stuff. You got to include him because next year Mallory's gone. This year tight end one, might as well start grooming him.
Exactly. Start grooming him now. When we were great in the early 2000s, I remember going to the Orange Bowl and it was a blowout. People were starting to leave the game, and I would see Greg Threet, or who else? Trying to think of other backups. Rocky McIntosh when Vilma was still here. You would see those guys in the fourth quarter every game.
Yep, and it was exciting to watch them.
Yeah, and guess what? They were ready the next year. Go figure. Chugbo Beer, whoever the new coach is going to be, Miami has to get Muschamp as DC. He would make the Canes defense great again. Canes for life.
You know who I would love, and it's probably not going to happen. I think he's over at FAU now. I always forget his name. He was the coach at USF for a while, got dismissed because he supposedly slapped one of his players in the locker room.
Arlie Strong?
No. And then he went and coached linebackers in the NFL for my Niners when they had Alden Smith, Patrick Willis, and all those like that crazy linebacking core they had.
Right.
Former USF coach. Oh my God, anybody in the chat, if they can remember his name. He's at FAU right now. I would love him as a defensive coordinator. Everybody's like, oh, well, hold up. He runs a 3-4. Nah, he runs 4-3 as well. Let me see if I can look it up. I'm drawing a blank. I'm sorry.
No worries. No, I'm looking it up too. Mike Stoops?
No.
Jim Levitt? No.
Jim Levitt.
Oh, Jim Levitt. Okay.
I would love him here in any capacity. DC linebackers coach. I want that guy.
That dude was no joke. When USF was like top 5 and they had JPP, I think he was the head coach.
Yep. He got him up to number 2 in the country. And then, he was the linebacking coach for the Harbaugh years when the Niners had the best linebacking core in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, with Patrick Willis and all. And
he coached he coached that unit. Alden Smith, Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman. And I'm missing one more. It was a UVA linebacker. Big as hell. But, that dude, I would love him here.
Oh, I would too. Yeah, I think my dream head coach coordinator combination, I would have to say, if not, I mean, Fickle's my dream scenario, but if not, like Cristobal with, maybe Shiano as DC if he's willing to be a coordinator.
Right.
And probably like Sonny Dykes or somebody like that running the offense. That would be like, okay, Miami's just like, they don't care about money anymore. It's open check.
Blank check. Yes.
Yeah. Obviously, those guys wouldn't stick around too long. It would be to kind of groom the next guys. But you start off with that. I'm feeling very confident going into Texas A&M next year.
Of course. I mean, and it's good when you have coaches that don't stick around because that means your program's kicking ass and taking names. So
right. It should be a carousel. Every 3-4 years, they should be leading. Let's see. All top schools like Bama run the pro style 50-50. Somewhat. How many years would you guys give? Oh, that's a good question. Say we hire Mario next year or the year after or whatever. How many years do you give him before, you start getting a little impatient?
Look, you don't kick a guy like that out, okay? You don't put a time limit to me on a guy like that. I said earlier, I was a big Manny guy up until just maybe about a month ago. Actually, I stuck it out that long. And the reason I stuck around that long is because, once things started coming out, it's like, okay, Manny, whatever. But you don't kick a home. You don't put a time limit on a hometown guy that won, 2 national championships here that can recruit, is a maybe is one of the best recruiters in the country, a guy that is a Saban understudy, okay, disciple, a guy that coached here before in FIU and took them to a bowl game. He has relationships. Columbus would be on lock. I think you give that guy what he needs, okay? Because Rio is one of those types of coaches that give me what I need and I'll be okay. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen it at FIU. There's a reason Saban wanted him, and he did it at he's doing it right now at Oregon. The guy's won this is his he's going on for his third Pac-12 championship.
Third.
So I mean, I don't rush a guy like that. It's like I like to tell my bosses this. I'm like, look, you're rushing me for something. Do you want it right or do you want it rushed? Okay, give him his time, man. Let him do whatever. And I know that's not whatever we want. I was willing to give Manny 4 years. I really was, but it wasn't so much even the on-field stuff. The on-field stuff is not, believe it or not, that's not what turned me off about Manny. It really isn't. It was the off-field stuff. But you give a guy like that, man, until he's showing that he can't coach anymore, I'm letting him ride it out.
Agreed. I think he's got free reign unless it just completely unravels, which I think Mario here and the program unraveling. I mean, those two things don't go together.
It doesn't, especially with the names at AD that we're looking to hopefully getting. So
yeah, DC. Oh, Gary Patterson. That's another guy I wouldn't mind this program.
Oh no, hell no, I would take him. I would take him as a DC. I don't think he would take it, but I'd take him.
Right. Real quick on the whole. I need to touch on this. The whole headset thing. This rule that we violated that I was not even aware of. I'm a little dumb. You might need to explain it to me. But basically, the way I understand it is we used too much equipment. Right. And we got flagged for that. So now we have to use 20% less equipment to be able to communicate during the game. That's basically what happened.
That's what I heard. What I heard. And so I don't know how much you can – I mean, every coach is going to say, it's not going to affect us or whatever. But they know that going – it's not like if they found out 2 days, 3 days before the game. So they're probably working on how to deal with less communication throughout this past week, preparation-wise, okay, about that. And then, number one, you're at home, so it's going to be, like, not on the road. So it should be a little bit easier. You don't have that crowd to worry about or whatever. But I know it's an electronic thing, so I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, and we have all of our coordinators. They're downstairs, okay? Manny's downstairs. Nobody's in the booth. Rhett's downstairs. So I don't know how much that's going to really bug us. So, I mean, I'm not really too concerned about it. And it just seems like a minor. I'm surprised, knowing how the NCAA is waiting for Miami to fart. I'm surprised they didn't make it a big deal in headline news. I actually am.
Yeah. I've been watching college football for more than close to 25 years. I have never heard of this rule in my life. There is no way that the bigger programs don't break this rule on a regular basis somehow.
Right? That makes sense.
There's no way.
And doesn't Bama have like 100 coaches on their sideline? So
they have a coach for like every player. Like, don't tell me they don't have an extra headset. Like, yeah, no, it's just it gets to a point that's you have to laugh.
Let me ask you a question. Going back to the Manny and the him being here or whatever. How does it look from the outside looking in? Okay. If you see go off to a bad start, but then all of a sudden, like you say, they may not win a bowl game, but they win out the regular season. They show up in a bowl game at the very least and say they end the season with 8 wins. How does it look like firing him after that? How does the administration look? It
does look, I mean, immediately it reminds me of back because I'm a big Marlins fan. So remember when we had Joe Girardi in 2006, a team full of rookies mostly. We almost make the playoffs. He's manager of the year, and he gets fired because he has that. It reminds me of that. I don't know if it's not to that extent. I mean, Manny didn't have that good of a season, but let's say, he wins out. We look good. And then he gets fired. Yeah, it doesn't look right. I think people that don't know a lot about what's happening in the program, perception is, what Herb Street said is right. They don't know what they're doing up there. You know what I mean? So, it definitely looks odd. And I think they know that. That's why this discussion of, what if he gets one more year? I think it's legit. And And it could very well happen because these next 4 games are all games we should win. I'll be very pissed if we lose one of them because we shouldn't.
Was it NC State's coach or no? It wasn't. It was Narduzzi said Miami's going to win out, or I think they're going to win out.
Yeah, it was Narduzzi. Yeah, my money's on them to win out is what he said.
That's what he said.
Yeah, and especially like, let's say we go to Charlotte and beat Wake Forest, who's a top 10 team. Then it's like, man, now he has a strong argument to stay. It's hard to argue that.
If you know what, if that, let's just say, okay, since we're talking about dream scenarios here and stuff like that, and we still get a new AD in and everything, all right, that new AD, they're not supposed to tell coaches how to run their teams, okay, but they are in charge of who's coaching the team in terms of, the head coach or whatever. So you tell them, like, look, man, we know what's been going on behind the scenes, back door, locker room, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You got to do this. If you don't do this, then you're out. I think that has to happen because you can't have this wonderful finish to the season and then go back to the XYZ that you were doing when everybody else was telling you ABC. You can't do that. Zoe knows what's going on. Gino Toretta knows what's going on. Supposedly one of those two that are going to be the main guy. And if they know that, you have to have that conversation with him because you can't go backwards, man. That'll be a bad look.
Yeah, no, I agree. They definitely have to. It'll be interesting to see how they handle this. Let's just say that. I mean, it starts with hopefully the players can block out the noise and they can, which they've been doing. They can stay focused and beat this team that they should beat.
Right.
It'll go a long way. Now, I don't want to keep you too long. I know you're a busy man, but just wanted to get your quick. I don't know if you're a prediction guy. I stopped getting predictions because I'm very superstitious.
Okay.
And look, we've been winning. But what is your prediction for Saturday? How do you think things play out?
Man, again, with a team that is so inconsistent, and right now I'm talking about the defense because the offense has been, showing up for the past couple of games, but you don't know what you're going to get, so it's hard. But yes, a win. Miami should top 30 points. Mm-hmm. GT should not top. They shouldn't score. If they score 3 touchdowns, it's too much. Okay. But, with the way, if that defense that shows up against NC State, that, those gang tackling and stuff I know it was a close game, but, they played well in that first half, first quarter, specifically. They do that. They come out and handle business. And again, I think if you have to make them predictable and you go up, say 3 touchdowns, in the first half, you make them predictable. That's when Manny's defense looks good. When he lets, all the guys just get after the quarterback or whatever. That's the Manny defense that, that 2017 that we see and 2018 and all that stuff. So if that happens, Miami gets out to a big lead, then I think they'll win by double digits. I would not be surprised if it's a close game. I wouldn't be surprised. It's just so Miami. And I just hope the players are zoned in, man, because you know how it is with the younger players. They start to, kind of feel themselves. They got to stay grounded, lean on each other, and, can just, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But, there's nothing fixed on that defense yet. We got Tay back. Okay, cool. And I'm going to go ahead and give you a number. I'm going to say I'll say 34, and Georgia Tech, I'll say 24, 34-24 Miami.
That's about what I'm thinking, around there. I think it'll be a competitive game, but it won't be like a nail biter that we're like, that 2017 game with Daryl Langham catch. No, nothing like that.
I called that game. I called that game for WVUM that year, and it was raining and all of that stuff. Second week in a row, the guy, puts on a Superman cape, and then we kick it at the end. But that was actually my first game that I called for WVUM, and it was, oh man. It was exciting. Just glad. I don't want to feel like that, man. Being a Canes fan is unhealthy.
Oh my God. The last 15 years, very, very stressful.
Yeah.
But I remember being at that game. It was rainy. I was in section 117, like right on the 20, 30-yard line. So the catch happened like pretty close to me. In the rain, next to the student section. It was nuts.
It was.
But But about Manny's defense, the blitz, like how I noticed this year, the blitz is just not getting home. Is it just we don't have the talent we had the last couple of years? Because I mean, we have lost some dudes, but
of course,
like the blitz looks a little slow developing this year.
It does, and I don't know if that's on purpose. I mean, ideally, you want to get there with only 4 guys. All right, Miami used to be famous for that. You didn't need to bring someone. You brought that 5th guy; it was hell. But it does seem to be either we get there just too late, or you can see the guy coming on a delayed blitz, and it's just really, really obvious. But to your point, yes, we did lose some talent. You lose Roche, you lose, Phillips and Rousseau. Okay, fine. But the guys that you have, I think that's a product of really not having seen them all the time. Because, okay, and this is how I like to look at the 20. What year was Manny's first year? It was 2019.
19, yeah.
Was it 2019? It was first year, right? Okay, so the Mark Richt years, Mark Richt played a lot. He was a veteran guy. He played a lot of older guys, and that was on both sides of the ball, okay? And the example I like to use for this is when he was at Georgia, he had a guy starting at quarterback. I think his name was Joe something. I think it was Joe Cox or something like that. He was a starting quarterback. Behind him was Aaron Murray, and I forgot the quarterback that transferred to LSU, Mettenberger, okay? Both of those guys were behind a guy by the name of Joe Cox, okay?
Who I barely remember. I kind of know who you're talking about.
Okay, so the point that I'm getting at is those years that those guys didn't play behind Rick, and then they jump on and all of a sudden start playing for Manny, not playing and getting your experience under that was detrimental in Manny's first year, in my opinion, because you got to have no, he was a true freshman at the point. Nelson, he was a true freshman at that point, right? Is that Nelson?
2017 freshman. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a bad example, but still, you have guys that didn't play much. Pope didn't play much. Wiggins didn't play much. And I know this is speaking in hindsight. People are probably going to say, "Oh, well, they shouldn't have played in the first place." You didn't know that then. They're the young guys then that you wanted to see. So I think that's happening now because a lot of this line, they really didn't have that much playing time in the past couple of years or last year in particular. I know it was COVID year or whatever. There's a lot of things that were different, but I think that has something to do with it. The fact that you lost some studs, that has something to do with it. But I mean, that defense in general just doesn't look right. It doesn't look right. And they're not playing Manny describes his defenses in 3 words. He always likes to use the words fast, tough, and physical. And we've barely seen any of those, this season.
Barely. Until aside from James Williams, we haven't seen that consistently from anybody.
Right.
Yeah. But, hopefully they continue picking it up and, guys like Tyreek and Avante, keep making plays and keep the momentum going and we get that W.
I hope Avante, whenever he sees the field consistently, I hope he is to the defense what TVD is to the offense. I mean, he could be, man.
He has that ability. He has the ability for sure. All right, man. So I think we're going to cap it there. We got 52 in the chat. Thank you guys so much. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Mike, much appreciated. Thank you for taking some time to come on and talk some Canes.
Always good to talk some Canes, man. Anytime, you need a guest, man, I'll be happy to hop on. I love doing this.
All right. Appreciate it, man. So, yeah, man, I know you're busy. I'll let you go. As always, guys, it's all about the U. Let's get that W on Saturday. Go Canes.